I don't know how to speak French. I kept saying merci, merci, merci. I personally have proof that God answers prayers. I have a crush on you. Can we be friends first? Femi, travel vlogs, they cost money. Dimma, who is the guy you traveled with? Sips hot tea. Hot tea, Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Dimma here. This is actually my first video since I came back, and I'm really excited because it's a sit down chit chat video, one of the easier videos for me to film actually, because I don't need a script. I'm just kind of talking. I'm reading your questions and I'm talking. What's all this? Am I about to dance? But okay guys, I like this hair, by the way. I look like a badass fish. This is a Q&A. I asked you guys yesterday to ask me questions, and a lot of you asked me questions. I was actually very excited. There were a lot of nosy questions here. We're going to get to that, but a lot of you actually asked me some questions that I have not gotten before. I was so worried that because this Q&A is following my trip, that their proko might be too much. It's actually not. So there's some really good questions in here. Let's get into it. But before I start, I want to say a very big thank you to the sponsor of today's video. Thank you so much, BetterHelp, for sponsoring today's video. So this is not the first time that I'm going to be talking to you guys about BetterHelp. Talked about them quite often. They're one of my favorite sponsors, okay? But just in case you do not know anything about BetterHelp, BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it is 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues, okay? Don't think that there's anything that you're dealing with that they've not seen before, that people have not gone through before. Trust me, there's so many professional people who are equipped on this particular platform to help you with a wide range of issues. To get started on BetterHelp, you just need to answer a few questions about your needs and your preferences when it comes to therapy, and BetterHelp is going to match you with the perfect therapist for you. And I've said this multiple times, going to say it again. If you feel like they've matched you with somebody that you're not compatible with, or you do not like 100%, you can easily change your therapist, switch therapists. It's such an easy thing to do on the platform, okay? You can change your therapist. You do not have to, for any reason, manage talking to somebody that you do not want to talk to. So you can always switch therapists until you're happy, okay? It's something that is guaranteed, okay, on BetterHelp. Once you're started with your therapist, you can talk to your therapist however you want. You can chat with them, you can text, chat with them, you can voice call, and you can video call, okay? You have the option. There are days, like I've explained to you guys before, where I really don't want to talk. I don't want to use my voice. I also do not want to see someone while I am talking. Depending on where you are mentally, these things happen. You have the option to actually text, and you have a very good, meaningful session regardless, okay? You can message your therapist at any time, and you can also schedule live sessions whenever it is convenient for you, okay? The whole interface is so easy to use. Like I already said, if your therapist is not the right fit for you for any reason whatsoever, you can switch therapists or get a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect with in-office therapy, but with a therapist that is custom picked for you. You also get more scheduling flexibility and an affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/dimma. I'm going to have this link in the description box as well. Click there for all other additional information that you will need. And BetterHelp is spelled BETTER, better help, HELP, okay? Thank you, BetterHelp, again for sponsoring today's video. So the first question here is, let me tell you guys something, yeah. If there are 100 questions here, 60 of them have man at a point in the way it was constructed. I really don't know what to say to that, because people have forgotten that I exist on my own as an entity. I'm going to answer some of them that are answerable. A lot of them I think I might not be able to answer. So let's just get into it. I've also, because when we're doing Q&As, I actually banter like this and I talk like this to you guys. And I remember the last one where I was talking, somebody was like, that you're so rude that I should tone it down a bit. That who do I, that why am I talking to people like I'm like, but this is how we talk. We're Nigerians. And you know, sometimes I feel like sometimes people have like a cultural thing, as I will mix jokes in between my sentences, guys. It is not We're having a good time. It's banter. This is how I talk to my friends. I even Norma has testimonies, okay, on the way we both, although she's worse than me when it comes to talking like this. But guys, let me kind of just skip a lot of the man ones, and I kind of try to answer them in summary. So if I get to a point where I've seen a question a lot, I'll kind of answer it based on the bulk, okay? So the first question here is from Dimma Umeh, who is technically a pest. And the question here is, if I spray money, will you twerk for me? Bring the money first. I say 50 kobo from you, Norma, bring it. Let's see what I would do. Okay? That's the first one. The next one here is from Wife or Man. She's like, Paris or London, which will you live in if you had to relocate? Okay, I am obviously going to say London because I've actually stayed there for a while at different points in my life, okay? It's a place that I found, like, just with time and experience, is a much easier place to navigate, okay, for me. I love that they have like a transportation system that is just amazing. I love the culture. I love a lot of things about London. I'll say London. However, this was my first time in Paris, right? Paris is beautiful. But then again, I really cannot speak for people who have migrated to that place, Black people especially, what their living experience is like. But all in all, it just looked like a very, very beautiful place, okay? It was beautiful. The French people, like they have, I don't know, like it should have a name, but there's this almost delicate thing to where they wrap things up. It's just so beautiful. A lot of the places we went to were just a sight to behold. They were beautiful. I don't know, like, it was really good. It was a very, very good trip for me, but then I can't now say that I would want to live there. Is it a place that I would want to visit again and again, hopefully? Yes. But obviously the answer to this question is London, and it's the familiar thing. And again, this is me saying all of this without also talking about the language barrier that living in France would pose for me. I don't know how to speak French. I kept saying merci on this trip, because one thing I do is whenever I travel to a new country, like even when I went to Kenya, when I went to Ethiopia, just when I've gone to countries where English is not the one of the first languages there, I really want to, or try to learn before the trip, what the words for thank you are, please and thank you, and also I am like sorry, how to apologize. So yeah, I'd say London, okay? Okay, so there's a lot of people here asking me, how did I meet my partner? And I've answered this question in a previous Q&A. So guys, please check my last 2 Q&As. The answer to this question is most definitely there. CJ Lynn is asking, how are you feeling and how was your birthday? I have a lot of how are yous here. I might touch on them a lot, but again and again, because I've also seen people being very specific to health. But guys, I'm fine. I'm very, very grateful to God. I'm thankful. My birthday was amazing. By the time that I really had a good time. I'm not going to lie. Like, I remember like my last birthday, I was still even in the midst of something. I had not yet come out of it, but I went to Dubai with my friends. Like, they even pushed for that trip. Chrissy pushed for that trip. Fredro pushed for that trip. Norma pushed for that trip. They pushed for that trip more than I did. So I went to Dubai with them and we had a good time. And I was surrounded with so much love. And I was just happy that I was on a trip with people who genuinely cared about me. And every time I'll think about, like, someone asks me what's your best birthday, I would always say that one. But this one was also very good. Like, I don't even want to say also. I'll say also because, like, love from your tribe is special in ways that I don't think you can equate or compare with love that you get from a significant other or a partner. And this one was also amazing for me because, like, I really had a good time. I felt loved. I felt loved last year. I felt loved this year. It was just really amazing. I had such a good time and I'm so, so grateful and thankful to God for that, okay? I don't know why I started hitting my phone towards the end, but yeah. Okay, so someone is asking here, it seems like a personal question, so I'm not going to mention the name. She's asking, how did you handle days when all you prayed for didn't happen at the time you needed it to? And I'd love to know more about your waiting in God's time and how you were able to trust God. I think that for me, I had a very strong background in like, the way I'm going to answer it is not going to be very straightforward, so please bear with me. So I grew up in a religious household, but not like, my parents were not like very extreme about it, or some of the ways I've kind of seen people describe things that would happen in their homes, maybe tied to the church. It was something that my parents made sure that we were kind of involved in growing up. But then again, I can't remember one incident when we were actually punished right? For not doing specific things a certain way when it comes to church. Or I also did not come from one of those households where I've seen parents like use God as a method of like, God will do this and do that, like as a like to scare you or punishment or whatever, right? But I know that my parents would take us to church, and like the older we got, they would, like when they're going to morning masses or just going to masses, they would take us along. And I feel like for me that was the first level. And at that point, I feel like I was too young to even at that point say that I kind of fostered or formed any kind of relationship with God. All I know is that it was something that my parents did. But a very good thing that came out of that, it was that at least it was like a foundation that they laid. I went on to go to secondary school. My secondary school was a missionary school. I know that missionary school tends to get a lot of heat, and I'm also not going to say that my experience in HRC was, there were times, like there are certain things that happened there that I just think about it and I shudder. But one of my favorite things about HRC or going to school was that there was one place that was always open from morning until night in the secondary school that I went to, and that was a chapel. And we're all encouraged to go there whenever we want and come out. For me, it's like when you have a muscle and you begin to exercise it is what so I remember like losing things in secondary school. So I'll lose a key, I'll lose something, and I really don't want to break my cupboard apart, and I've been crying. And I've had situations where I would go to the church, like I'll go into the church, I'll go towards the Blessed Sacrament, because they will encourage you, just go to church, spend some time with God, you know, stuff like that. And I remember like when I was much younger, I'll go there, I'll actually pray, and sometimes I'll cry and I'll talk about how frustrated I am, and in a very organic manner, not in the very rigid way, you have to say this prayer before you have to say this prayer for it to enter God's ear. You know, some of the things I feel like I see a lot of adults repeat. No, I will go into that chapel when I was in proper distress most of the time, and I'll table my matter in a very organic way, and I will pray and I'll cry. And to be honest, that is how my relationship with God, I feel like, actually really started. I've had him come through for me, and sometimes it's not instant, okay? In a lot of cases, it's actually not instant. It takes time. You have to wait. You have to be patient. But then I personally have proof that God answers prayers. And it's one of those things I feel like it's very, very difficult for you to explain to someone who has never experienced this before, does not have the background. It's one of those things that people come and be like, oh, the whole thing is foolishness or whatever they tend to say sometimes on social media. What I'm trying to tell you is that because I know this, and I've had very specific times, like I will never forget, oh God, let me tell, like guys, I have had mad things happen to me. I'll never forget one time realizing that my passport was missing. And I say this because to me it's the small things. And I know that there are other things that are even more personal that I cannot come and start saying here, but I will use this scenario. I'll never forget having my flight tickets booked to come back home at a point, right? And I was not in Nigeria. And I did not know. Like, so it was even like randomly, I don't know what was happening, and I was putting things together. In my mind, I thought that my international passport was somewhere. The day before, I'm scheduled to travel at night. I opened the drawer and then I can't find my passport. Like, the passport is not there. I thought it was a joke. I started opening my bags, checking under the bed, checking everywhere. I started thinking back to the last time I had seen it. And my mind, for you to see how the mind works, was telling me, oh, that I had seen it. Like, the last time I had seen it was maybe 2 weeks ago. So it is somewhere. And I was looking. Tell me why we now checked the whole house. We did not realize. I started crying. I started praying. When I'm trying to tell you that I was praying, I was like, God, please just help me. I started making calls. I started doing all sorts of random things. I even got friends involved. They started helping me check. Tell me why I called. And at that point, we'd gone through all the places where, like at this point, I had prayed. And everything I was now doing, I was like, I can't be idle. God should just please come through for me. And I remember like calling a random train station. If you know how train stations are, they are like airports, right? And I remember like calling the train station, and I was like, please, is it possible? Connect me to the lost and found. I was now calling all the major places I know that I had been at that period. Tell me why my passport had been sitting in that train station's lost and found for months. And it was the fact that it had fallen out of my bag, and somebody was even kind enough to pick it for months. I'm not joking, for months. What are the odds? So it's small things like this. And I found it on the day that I was supposed to travel. So I now had to go to another city. So it wasn't even lost in the train station in my own city where I was. It was somewhere that was 1 hour away where I had traveled to months before. It's crazy things like this. And I had prayed. So to me, it might sound like nothing serious or dramatic, or people can call it luck or whatever. For me, these are small things. So for example, like I've talked about 2021, 2022. I couldn't see myself getting back. There was a point where everybody was speaking English, nothing was really changing. And doctors were even scratching their head. I had to really tap into God's promises. And I remind myself of who God was. And I literally, you know how you call, I say you. I remember who you are. I remember who you've been to me. And I know that it's not looking up now. And you know the reason why. Because if it's something you want to take away now, or you want me to have now, you're going to give it to me. That's how big and absolute I know that God is. But for me to be enduring this pain, this almost torture that I'm going through right now, there is a purpose. What I am now asking you is to give me the fortitude to bear it until it lasts. I'm so far from where I was this time last year. I can work out now, I can jump up and down, I can do things, and I've gained some weight. It wasn't like that last year. I was in one of those places where you can't even see it changing anytime soon. And I don't want to say I was patient, but what I did was I activated my hope. So hope is a very, 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 very important part of waiting. You don't just wait idle. You wait, you do what you can do. You wait hopeful and you wait faithful. Waiting without exercising these two things is just misery. And there's no point. So for me, that is how I get myself through things like this. I remind myself of who God is, and I remain hopeful and I remain faithful. And that was a longish answer, but I hope it made sense. Ella Umore is asking, how is your health? Really hope you're fully good now. I am much, much better. Guys, a lot of you are asking me this, and it's so easy because I get where it's coming from. Like, people can be coming and lying and, laughing and trying. No, like, I'm actually not at it. There was a point, I'm not going to lie, where I was braving through and coming on here to put on a face, but I'm really not. I'm no longer there. And I'm saying this covering it with the blood of Jesus, because it is him, okay? What letter of the alphabet does your man's name start with? You people are something, okay? The Nicole Sankofi is asking, how do you choose clothes? This is a very good question. In as much as, like, a lot of times, like, I want to hop onto trends because clothes trend. A very, very, what's the word to use? Something I count on, like when I actually make my choices, is just how good it looks on my body type. I dress for my body type. I also dress largely for comfort. I don't like things that are very, very uncomfortable, like wearing them for a long period of time. I consider my height. I consider my body type. I consider just certain features that I have. So in as much as it looks good on this person on Instagram and the jeans are sitting this way on the waist, I know that my waist to hip ratio, like my waist to hip ratio of me, for example, and an outfit I really like that someone is wearing on Instagram, it could just not be the same. And let that guy, so that I don't waste your money, because I see a lot of people buying things because they want to replicate what they've seen someone on Instagram wearing, not actually factoring in the way their own body is. Think of your body every time that you're trying to get clothes, okay? I'm seeing someone asking me here, how do you stay consistent with your faith? I think that the way that I answered the previous question also kind of answers this. Hope you enjoyed your birthday. Still styled by Yayi asking, hope you enjoyed your birthday trip in Paris. Love you. Thank you so much. Yes, I did. So this is from Chisom_Mora, and she's asking, which makeup brand has the best foundation? Top 3. I'll actually say NARS. So I got one recently that I'm still trying, but I really like it. So NARS Sheer Glow. There's another. I'm going to leave the names of this foundation in the description box. I also got the new light reflecting one, which I've heard works even better for people with combination to oily skin. But my go-to brand for complexion products at the moment is NARS. I just like their things just work for me. Hello, if you're asking me, hope you're feeling better health-wise, hope you're feeling good. You guys are so sweet to me. Yes, thank you. It comes from a place of care and I really appreciate it. Femi is here asking me, why did you stop travel vlogs? Femi, travel vlogs, they cost money. I didn't stop them, but we're all in Nigeria, are we not? I actually plan to keep giving you people travel content, but traveling is not cheap, y'all. It's not cheap. I do plan to give you guys more, hopefully this year, but it's not a cheap thing to do. It's not like a trip. It's not like walking to the market. And I know that you guys really love my travel vlogs, but it's also not, they're not cheap. So their manager is also saying just a few percentage of women are investing in real estate. How do you think we can do better? I think that there's probably a very complex answer to this, but then again, I'm also going to talk about it from a very economic place. I would say women in this society that we live in, we don't have as much disposable income as men do. And when you're talking about real estate, it's not like women don't like investing. Women will, I have seen them gravitate towards even the most crude forms of investing that they can. Even if it's this one where you lock money away and everybody locks, 1 month is one person's turn to collect all of that. I've seen it happen. So women actually need money for it. And I think that the reason why we're not seeing a lot of women in that area putting money in this particular area is because a lot of women also don't consider it to be accessible. Like, you have to be informed and you have to come in contact with people who actually break it down and show you what the plans are and how much. But a lot of time when people think about houses, it's such a big thing to, like, you begin to think it's not even my size. Like, of all the places to put money, this is such a big thing and it's far out of my reach. So there's a lot of educating that needs to be done, but then again, you also have to have the money to invest in the first place. Same person is asking, how did I meet my partner? So Chizia is asking, please, how is your finger rosary holding up? It's actually holding up quite nice. I reckon that you're referring to the one that I got last year, and it's holding up really well. It's real gold. I told you guys. I'm going to leave the link to it again in case you're interested in the description box. I bought it from a vendor on Etsy. Someone is asking, is there an exact duration for godly dating before marriage? I honestly don't think that this is one of those things that is cut and dry. It honestly just depends. There's so many factors, socioeconomic things that could actually prevent people who really want to marry each other that I feel like the average middle class person might not even be able to relate to. It could be as simple as the fees that you even pay at the church or whatever institution is going to bind you guys together. So I just don't know. I just feel like when it feels right, because I don't think that there's any duration known like that exists where people, like, I'll say that it is a recipe for success, that if you date for this exact period of time, then you're guaranteed an absolutely perfect marriage. Do you get? Just as long as it feels right, pray about it. When it feels right, then yeah. Parsi Batonda is asking, hello Dimma, hope you're good. Please, can you explain how Amazon affiliation works for African countries, subscription and commission reception? Thanks in advance, much love. To be honest, I do not think that Amazon affiliate program is available to Nigerians. Let me not say Africans. For Nigerians, it's not available. If you're seeing people who use it from here, they probably maybe signed up when they were outside the country and put in details there, but it's not something that is available like to us here as we are with Nigerian bank accounts and with Nigerian addresses. It's not available yet. So someone is saying here, how did you know what you wanted to do in life? I'm 30, finishing my master's degree, but I feel so lost. My husband is so supportive, and being in a foreign country, I can't just tell him I am tired. I understand this feeling, maybe not to the degree that you've just explained it, but I think that for me, I really pursued things that made my heart beat in a positive way. Things that literally gave me joy. I feel like whatever it is you want to do with the rest of your life, let it be something that, I think that if you finish a task within that area, if you don't feel a sense of reward or fulfillment from your brain, then it's going to be stress, okay? Because I feel like with a lot of people who are passionate or decide to do something, and it could be so many things, I feel like there's so many things that we feel like fall under the category of hobbies that we cannot monetize, or we are afraid or ashamed of saying that this is where our passions lie. My thing is, for me, is as long as the reward center, is that what it's called? Like a part of your brain is not activated and you're not motivated to do something following results that you've like from previous tasks you've completed. I know I'm saying a lot right now. I don't think it's worth it. But I hope that this makes sense. I think that maybe think about it like that. And you'll be surprised that it might have nothing to do with the degree that you just finished. Because I feel like there's always this sense of like, I've just finished a degree, but it's just dawning on me now that I want nothing whatsoever. And you begin to wonder, why did you put in all that money? And I think that it can actually just keep you where you don't want to be. So just think about it and try to figure it out. But give it some thought. It doesn't have to be, you don't also have to come up with an answer now. There's also a possibility that you might not have even experienced what I've just explained. So you have to try a few things to know the things that you gravitate towards, okay? So this is by Debbie Emetin, and they're asking, hi Dim, how many tattoos do you have currently? I still have one tattoo, guys, okay? And I think it's going to remain one for a very, very long time. Someone is asking, is your BF Catholic? If not, how are you navigating that as a devoted Catholic? He is Catholic. Chukwaruka. My God is good. I don't have to navigate Shengbine. You see? That's that God. Somebody's here asking, where can I find a man in Lagos? I don't know. I don't know. I've answered this question so many times. When me and Jola came, they asked us. When me and Uche were here, they asked us. But the most important thing, Sha, is that he's not inside your house. So I don't know where exactly, but he's definitely not in your living room or bedroom. These are the issues. Someone is here asking me, why are your videos so long? Whoever asked this question, please go to my channel and take a look at my short videos versus the long ones and look at the ones that have the most views. I think that there's this whole myth about how people don't watch long videos in YouTube Nigeria, or they don't have data or whatever. Like, let me tell you guys something. My long videos do way better. If I publish a video that is like 10 minutes long on YouTube, my heart is beating. That's the videos I worry whether people will watch or not. If a video is more than 30 minutes, that's such a sweet spot. People love it. People watch it. If people like something, why should I stop doing it? I have a crush on you. Can we be friends first? How did you meet? 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 How are you doing? How's your health? What new health activities are you trying / doing? Can you share? I've kind of answered the first part of her question already, but I am working out. As I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking to you guys with pains in my body. I've been working out, guys. Like, I came back and I jumped into working out. At a point, I told Noma, I don't know who is chasing me, but I'm running. Like, I've been working out, and I do things that feel good. So one thing I am doing now is that I've always tied workouts to like negative feelings. Like I feel like I have to force myself through it. So what I've also been doing since last year is exploring workouts that I genuinely feel good after I've finished. I really love Grow with Joe. I think she's called on YouTube. I love a lot of her workouts, especially the ones that involve hits or high intensity interval or high intensity interval. I think trainings. I love those. I also love walking. You work out certain parts of your body, but then, or the dance workouts as well. You're dancing, you're sweating, you're burning calories, but it doesn't feel like you're repeating certain motions over and over and over again. They can get boring. So Amaka is asking me here, let me not call your surname. Dimma, who is the guy you traveled with? Sips hot tea. Okay. So underscore Marvi is asking, how do you blur the background in your videos, ma'am? This is actually a lens thing. The lens kind of prioritizes the subject in front and blurs out the background. It's not something I do post filming or during editing. It's just something that the lens does. So when you are trying to buy cameras or lenses, look out for something called aperture. The lower the aperture, the higher the bouquet or blur you get in the background. So lenses that will give you a very nice blur in the background are lenses that can go all the way to 1.8 or 1.4, sometimes 1.2. If you're looking at 1.2, 1.6, no, I don't think it's a 1.6, but 1.4, like I'm using a 1.4 lens right now. They will give you a very nice blur in the background. So NOB is asking, hello Dimma, you once spoke about being signed to an agency. Can you throw more light on how that works for an influencer or YouTuber, or how does it promote your brand or career? So the thing about agencies or being signed to them is that what they do is they look out for you when it comes to the work end of things. They bring deals to you. So there are a lot of brands who might not, a lot of them actually do not reach out, especially the big ones, do not reach out to, they don't take their time out to start searching for creators individually, right? What they do is that they, however, have agencies on their roster. So they come to agencies and they're saying, we're looking for these type of creators. And if you're assigned to an agency, what they do is they prioritize you. So deals that fit you or deals they feel would work for you, right? Or that you're a perfect fit for, they bring it your way. And what that does is, so it's just like a staircase. It elevates you a bit. So what the agency does is that it boosts your visibility to people who might not have known that you existed if you were not signed to that agency. I don't know if that makes sense. So that's the reason why all your big YouTubers, all the big YouTube people actually are one way or the other, are either signed to agencies or have been signed to agencies at a point. There's a lot of, are you engaged questions here. Someone is saying, my sister is so convinced that you got engaged on this trip. A lot of people are asking, how was your trip with Side Eye? Are you engaged? Did he propose? Guys, I even blocked somebody. And the reason why I blocked the person recently was because she went from "are you" to saying "congratulations on your engagement." I'm trying to explain to you guys that I think that what this has done, actually, this particular trip has done, is that first of all, I didn't even post anybody like up until I didn't even, I've not posted anybody technically. You people don't know if it's my junior brother, you don't know if it's my senior brother, you don't know if it's my youth leader. There's so many things that are not known, okay? You take that and put it on the side. And then a lot of the YouTube family members actually kind of will have very strong suspicions. But the thing about it is that it also actually just like also makes it very clear again why, because the questions don't stop, you know, sometimes if you decide to ever show or do anything. And I know that it comes from a place of love most of the time, but somebody can feel bombarded. And for me, this trip was such a beautiful thing. I wanted to have a good, I had, in short, let me just say, it's Norma would drag me, Fejiro would drag me, but this is literally my best, like my best birthday so far. I had a good time. On that day, there was so much joy. Like I woke up happy, and it was similar to what I felt last year, but this year I woke up happy. So the thing is, or what I'm trying to explain is that sometimes certain comments can actually affect how someone is enjoying an experience. Because if the person is completely fine, although I knew in my heart that there was no proposal happening on this trip, for example. It is something I know, and trust me, I know what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that I didn't go on this trip planning to be proposed to. Like in short, I wasn't even expecting it. Okay, before I left the shores of this country, I wasn't expecting it. But what certain questions does, especially if you're talking, people are like, it's coming to somebody who is vulnerable, is making them wonder, should they actually be as at peace as they are at that given time, and not being worried about what other people are expecting on their behalf. So that's just what it is. But I'm also not saying that people are asking me, or that you guys are asking me from a place of like spite or anything. I know that it's coming from a good place generally. So how do you deal with someone that wants you to learn his dialect before he marries you? This is actually a very strong question. And I honestly don't know how I feel about it, because it's like a rule and regulation. I also think that, does he know how to speak your dialect? And let us say he knows how to, but he learned when he was younger. Even like when you're looking for a job, if they're telling you that you have to learn how to speak a completely different, like a whole new language before you get the job, a lot of people will just try to avoid it and take routes that are easier for them. I don't think that it is something that should be an ultimatum. You can hope that someone learns and you encourage them to learn with time, but it shouldn't be a stipulation. Actually, with the way you ended it with before he marries you, it's almost like if you don't learn it, I'm not going to marry you. It's not that hard. As long as you people have a basic conversation that you use to understand each other, why is this that type of requirement? I'm even just trying to imagine it now. If somebody told me that, no, I can't. Do you understand? It's long. Even like telling an Igbo person, because I'm Igbo, and I know there are Igbo people who understand Igbo so well. They understand it, but they don't know how to speak. Even telling someone like that they have to learn Igbo to speak it properly within a specific period of time is a lot of pressure to put on any person. So I don't think it's a fair thing to expect. Somebody's asking, do I need a personal assistant? No, at the moment, darling. I have 2 amazing assistants. Okay, AOG is asking, can you please do more styling videos, clothing? Really enjoy your style for everyday wear. Do you guys really want to see more fashions from me? I feel because I take a very no stress approach to fashion, and I feel like maybe it kind of largely works for me. I'm also trying to see if I can elevate it in some way. But if you guys want to see videos from where I am right now as I navigate it, I will try. I honestly will. Someone says, favorite part of your trip? It was so nice seeing you enjoy yourself, like you just stepped into relaxed, babe. Thank you. That's a very sweet, nice thing to say. Favorite part of this trip for me? What would my favorite part of this? I had so many favorite parts, but my best day actually was the day of my birthday, right? On that particular day, because we woke up, we went out, we did some things, we came back, we did dinner. It was such a blessed day. it did end with bad news for me. Like if you've watched the vlog, you must have seen it, but I just remember how I felt that morning. There were actually a lot of good days. So there was that day. There were days when I saw Chrissy. There were days that I hung out with Ada and Bugo. Was really, really good as well. There are days where I didn't necessarily vlog, where I did kind of everyday things with my partner, like things that you don't put on like an outfit and makeup for, but then they felt good. Do you understand? So I had days like that as well. So I really can't pick a particular day, but I think that if we are ranking it, the day of my actual birthday, which was what the trip was centered on, was actually really good. The early part of that day. How do you deal with friendships heartbreak? A few weeks ago, I overheard people I consider friends gossiping about me, and I have never been more hurt. Those people are not your friends. This might sound very dramatic, but for me, the more you look, the less you see me type of movement that I adopt in a situation like that, because out of the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. I want to believe that that is the right sentence I just said. But for you to get to a place where you say negative things about somebody you supposedly love, and not just saying it, but for you to say it comfortably, it means that it has swirled around in your brain to a certain degree. You have gone through, oh, should I? You've made peace with, and you're saying, it says a lot about how you feel about me. So my recommendation will be to be careful. If you confront, there will be an apology. They might blame the devil or blame a bunch of other things, but you also have to be careful. My thing is, things like this, they're never one-offs. They're bound to happen again. Because someone who really loves you, and I know this from friendships in my life, the love goes beyond I love you of mouth. It shows itself in the way they defend you when you're not there. The things that they are willing to go out of their way to do for you. They don't participate or partake in dragging you. Do you get? So, yeah. Okay, so someone is asking here, anonymous. She's saying she wants to be kept anonymous, but she's saying, how long do you think a talking stage should last? Okay, this is very different from the first question I answered. So godly dating is, I like you, you like me, we're exclusive, right? We're dating each other. We are like, I know that people have different definitions of what dating is, but I honestly think that dating requires a level of commitment. If you're actually now dating someone or you're in a relationship with someone, especially as that question was kind of structured, how long should that last before you people actually marry? That means that there's a level of commitment. Talking stage, however, is, to me, honestly, I'll say 3 months. Some people might agree or disagree. I think that anything after that, talking to somebody with that, and you people don't know, like it's not defined what you people are doing after 3 months. It's kind of long for me to be coming out in the main road and somebody will ask me, who is he to you? Oh, we're just talking after 3 months. Remember. What's your workout routine? I kind of already touched on that. So I love walking, indoor walks, outdoor walks. I also love high intensity interval trainings. So Tiami Nuyango is asking, is Namibia on your travel bucket list? Actually, it is. I really want to go to at least 2 countries in Southern Africa. Okay, so don't mention my name, please. How do you completely leave a situation? I'm in a relationship with a narcissist and I'm aware of the abuse, yet I somehow still like him. I'm tired. You see, love is such a... Because I remember like I was talking to someone and we were discussing a situation. And the person was just like, oh, why doesn't she leave? And I'm like, it's easy for you to say that sometimes. Relationships, especially where there is love and emotions involved, people always feel like they've invested something. Their time, their body sometimes, their energy, certain things, and it's not easy. When you're dealing with a narcissist who, they are even professionals when it comes to manipulation, it's even worse. From experience, the best way is to cut things off. I think that, especially when you love the person or what they are able to say still holds sway over you, if you actually decide to leave, but you leave a small window for them to come in, they will cry, they will beg. all those things that make you weak towards them, they will do it. But then you have to just stand up and make a decision and think of all the possible ways that somebody can possibly persuade you. You have to imagine it, play it out in your head. All the excuses or explanations they could possibly have for the things they do or keep doing to you. Imagine it. Imagine them saying it, and imagine them saying that and still doing what they normally do. I think that will help you. But I feel like with them, I don't know what a therapist would recommend in this situation, but I think that with them, what I have done is just withdraw completely. And it is because you love them at the end of the day. And you know that given the room, they will come and do those things that kind of endear them to you. That's what I would say. I know it's hard, it's very difficult, but also think of where, especially if this is a man and you're saying you love him, think of where you want to be in life. Think of all the ways that this person could possibly hinder you, all the things you could possibly block, all the ways you could possibly not be yourself and experience certain things in full because they exist. All the excuses that you would have to make in order to keep them a certain way, I don't think it's worth it. So think of all of that and let that drive you towards the decision that you make. Someone is asking, hey Dimma, what are your thoughts on talent management agencies? I actually think that they could be a very good thing for you and they could help you. But then I've also seen that a lot of talent management agencies here are not equipped to handle Nigerian influencers. Like they're not equipped to handle creatives or influencers. And it's so crazy because I had this conversation with a talent manager recently, and he was telling me of how he mainly does or he likes to work with like mainstream type of creatives, like artists or actresses, right? And it's not really them, it is the brands that they have to deal with here. So what tends to happen is that the average Nigerian brand, or sometimes even a multinational who is doing something completely different outside of Nigeria, could come into Nigeria and they begin to require exclusivity to the point that it doesn't make sense sometimes. So the average Oyibo brand will be like, oh, we want to pay for an integration. You can talk about how good our product is, but maybe don't talk about our direct competitors, but you can talk about other people, like other products that you like. Because at the end of the day, talent agencies want to make money, right? And they make money from the deals that they bring you, right? And you see brands who come and be like, oh, we want to sign you as a brand ambassador for this beauty lotion for 6 months or for 1 year, right? We want you to be the face of this soap. And let us say that you're a creative who your come up, for me, somebody like me, my come up was from reviewing products and recommending it. And then you come and say you want me to be an ambassador. Like they're never hardly ever looking for small integrations. What they want is ambassadorship most of the time. And talent managers, that also makes sense for them because they get what they pay you for like a 6-month gig. They get the cut, is a decent cut, and they go, right? But then again, you see that a lot of Nigerian brands will be like, oh, but if they are doing this, we don't want them talking about any other soap on their channel. Which is weird because if your career has already been built by reviewing things, you want to be a person that is in the position of, if a brand that is very popular launches something, you want to be able to cater to your audience's request of reviewing that thing for them. What this type of deals do, I think, is they lock you into a very uncomfortable place where you're not able to be your true organic self to your followers because you've collected a specific amount of money. I personally do not consider those type of things worth it. One. And talent managers have also explained to me that they've tried to explain to brands that they should be allowed. Do you understand? Yes, they can push these things for you, but they should be allowed. But it's also one of those weird things where sometimes you see brands, things that are not really giving them a lot of results with mainstream advertising. They try to come to social media advertising and try to get it to work for them. I don't know if I'm making any sense. People follow me because they trust my recommendations, right? They want, even if I've been giving money, like I don't want to come and also lie. I also want to be at a position where I'm able to answer questions. Do you get? And do reviews that you people want me to do. So I don't know if this made any sense, but it's a very tricky thing to navigate. And in Nigeria helps, I'll say be very careful because you don't also want to go and sign a contract where 6 months now you're not able to give your audience the kind of content that they typically would expect from you, and it is because you've signed a contract. So Nkasi.R is asking, have you ever had to return an ASOS order from Nigeria? Please, what was the process like? This was a very, very long time ago and I was in Enugu. At the time, what had happened was I didn't even return for a refund. What had happened, I think that one thing was supposed to come, it didn't come on time, and ASOS sent a replacement. So it was crazy because I now ended up having two of the same items, and I emailed them and they were like, oh, go and drop it with our courier who delivered it to you. They know how to return things. But in terms of exchange, a lot of brands who ship internationally, they actually do not open, there's no pathway for returning something if it's an international order from here, from Nigeria. There's a question that I can't seem to find, but someone was asking me or had asked me if I got any perfumes on this trip. Yes, guys, I actually got 2 perfumes on this trip. I got Dior Rivera or Dior and another one. I think I'm going to dedicate some videos to those perfumes, but 2 really nice perfumes. And I also got some perfumes from Zara. I got some for my friends and I got some for myself. I got some perfumes, yes. So someone is here asking, tell us about your trip. What is your best memory from the trip? And I've kind of talked about it and I've shared the vlog already, but my birthday morning was really special to me. And it was just because of a line of events that happened that led up to actual dinner. I felt really good. It was like that particular day was my actually it was my burst day of the trip, like I already said. It was the way it started. I woke up, the food I ate, the things that were brought to me, the things that were done for me, the things that I also got to do for myself. You know, there was no pressure. Like on my birthday day, like I remember my last birthday, although I was with my friends and all of that, but there was so much pressure, like as we were rushing to get ready that day. There wasn't really a lot of pressure. It was a very easy day and I really loved that. The last question is, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your 21-year-old self? I'll tell my 21-year-old self that it will all get better. Like things will get better. And I'll also tell her that there is really nothing wrong with a lot of things that I started suspecting about life at that point. Because to me, considering the environments that I had grown up in, some of my ideas when it came to women, when it came to independence, were very eyebrow raising. And all of them be like, it's all talk. Let us see how she will do this. Let us see, you want to do YouTube, you say you want how many, you know, all these things you want to do. So a lot of those things, like I'll tell myself, like I would even have put more effort into it and not have shied away from certain aspects of it as I had done at that point in time. I will also maybe have tried to start working out very seriously then, because it's such a new thing to me. But then I know people have been running since they were 19, you know, like they just get up and run. My body is not used to that type of running, you know, just stuff like that. Yeah, and I'll also have told my 21-year-old self to be kinder to myself. It was something that I realized in my mid-20s that it was very, very important. Mid to late 20s. But guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Guys, I love this hair a lot. I'm going to have a link to it in the description box, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe to me if you are not yet subscribed. I love you guys and I will see you in my next one. This video is going to be long. Hopefully it's not long. Peace out. Kisses. Mwah.